never know how to start videos. Hi guys. See, I don't like that. Hi guys. Today we are going to talk marriage after kids. So I have a feeling that this is probably going to be a very rambly video. So if that's what you're into, take a seat. I have my iced coffee and I'm ready to chat. I've said this in other videos before. When I was pregnant, I watched so many YouTube videos related to pregnancy, birth, postpartum. I mean, name it, I watched it. But I don't really recall a lot of videos that touched upon postpartum relationships and emotions and stuff, and I feel like if that would have been suggested in my little feed, I would have clicked on it. Everyone talks about postpartum physically, and while that is fun to talk about, this is a much more long-lasting effect of pregnancy and kids that I think is not talked about, and it blows my mind. I feel like I really would have benefited from just someone sitting down and chit-chatting about it. I don't have any answers. I have tips just from things I've experienced, what I've gone through so far. I'm just going to share that and kind of talk about what I have experienced in the hopes that if someone out there has experienced the same thing or agrees with me in any way, it'll make me feel better and it'll make you feel better. So let's just talk about it. Okay, so I want to start this video by saying, and I want everyone to hear me out there, marriage after kids is not all bad. Your relationship does not go to crap, okay? There have been moments that I have been able to watch and witness of my husband and my daughter and things that we've experienced, the most amazing moments that I already have in my memory just as a snapshot that I'm going to take with me forever, and that would have never happened if we wouldn't have kids. And they're, what's the word? What's the word? Oh, I have no vocabulary. Priceless. That's the word. A really hard one. Okay, send me back to high school. Priceless moments that I wouldn't trade anything for the world. But marriage after kids, it's not all good. Okay? So I'll say that. Things that I feel like are game changers is the time. I think anyone would say that. The time that you have with just you and your spouse to focus on you and your spouse is very small. Obviously, I knew that it changes your relationship. I knew that things were going to be differently, and frankly, it would be weird if they weren't, because this is such a huge life change. You're bringing another life into the world when it's just been you and your husband, and your world's gonna revolve around that baby. It'd be weird if it didn't change. I just don't think that I fully realized the time that I wouldn't get with my husband anymore. And no one could have prepared me for that. That's the thing that kind of sucks about having kids, is all these people that are like, oh my gosh, get ready, you're never gonna sleep again. Oh, wait till she's 13, your life will be hell then. That's not helpful. Stop doing that. Let people experience things when they're going to experience them. Stop telling people to just wait, just wait. I just don't like that. No, just wait. So, yeah, I went off on a huge tangent. What am I even talking about? What's this video? I want to make this video as kind of like a heads up to kind of get you thinking about it and get you prepared, because I feel like my transition into motherhood would have been much easier if I kind of would have thought about this aspect a little bit more. Obviously, we have to prepare for the baby, the crib, the diapers. You have to get ready for all that trauma you're having down there. This aspect I didn't think about, and I just think that it would have been helpful to think about it a little more. That's it. Okay, time with your spouse. You are going to spend a lot of time physically in the same room together. So you will physically see them. However, sometimes just a body in the room. Is that I don't know who that is. Hand me a diaper. I have poop on my hands. It's not time that positively pours into your relationship. That's few and far between. So physically you'll be in the same room, but time that you're going to fill your love tank, I'll use that quote that's from church. time that you get to kind of fill your love tank is few and far between, and it has to be very purposeful. And that's one of the things I wanted to touch on in this video is it needs to be very purposeful, very planned out. You have to go out of your way to pour into your relationship. It's not just gonna happen like it used to. Yes, you will sit on the couch together when the baby goes down at night, but you're so much more exhausted. Even just being like, how was your day? Like, I just wanna look at my phone and I just wanna veg on this freaking couch till I can go to bed. And that sounds terrible, but that's how I feel half the time, and I know that's how he feels half the time. So it's very, it's work. And I never understood when people said marriage was work quite like I do now. I feel like it's a whole nother aspect when kids come into it. Before kids, you still needed to prioritize your relationship, but things come easier as far as that goes before kids. And I feel like I have to schedule time with my husband, and I'm terrible at it. And if he's watching this, he's probably like, we don't really do that. But we have tried to start doing at least a date night a month. Also, if I sound nasally, it's because I am. I have a ear infection in this ear, or as my husband calls it, an adult ear infection. That's his way of making fun of me, because who gets an ear infection as an adult, you know? Right here. I do. I have an antibiotic and I'm taking Mucinex, but I still sound disgusting. God, I'm all over the place. I should have made notes for this, right? So yeah, time has to be very purposeful and very well planned out. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the fact that fighting or bickering is also 10 times easier to do after kids, because you have this whole new life stressor that you didn't have before. You're tired. That pretty much plays into every aspect of everything. It can do terrible things. Yeah, you're tired. You're so busy with just like getting stuff done that has to be done. You're in that mode of just getting things done. And then when you finally get to sit down, it sometimes almost feels like another chore to try and get that quality time together. And it's so much easier to look at your phone and just keep scrolling through social media. That's something that I really want to try and break and be better about that. But it is what, I mean, that it just is. It's 10 times easier. You get in a rut because you're just so busy and you're tired and you're stressed. Oh my gosh, my lid's not on. Or is it? No, it's not on, and it just dripped all over me. Starbucks. Fighting comes a lot easier. It really does. And I feel like going into it, if you're pregnant, have a talk with your spouse and say, listen, let's really, really try to listen to each other, give each other the benefit of the doubt. I feel like one of the main marriage tips that I would give to people, if you start out every conflict that you're going to have with giving each other the benefit of the doubt, things will go differently. And do what I say, not as I do. I love my husband so, so much, and we are in it for the long haul. Our love goes deep, especially now that there's a baby and there are roots way down, okay? We're not going anywhere till death do us part. But this first year of having a baby has been hard. Literally tearing up. Oh my God, I just heard a dog outside and I was like, is that my freaking baby crying? I just put her down for a nap. Okay, so it's just been really, really hard. I've just never quite experienced our relationship under strain before, and it's not anything that's ever going to put our relationship in jeopardy. But it is so crazy going from a carefree relationship to much more strain, you know, and it's just, I did not think that I was gonna tear up. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this part. Like, I needed to be more snotty. I was already so snotty, and now I'm like gonna be snotting all over myself. And I did my makeup. It's been hard. It has been the hardest part of my marriage, and we've been married going on 7 years in June, right? 7 years in June. Everyone said the first year is the hardest. Me, I was playing house, okay? I was having a grand time. We didn't live together before we got married, so everything was new, everything was exciting, everything was fresh. We barely ever fought. We are really outgoing people, we're really sociable, we got to go out a lot. Not like out in the club, but we just got to go interact with friends, have dinner with friends, go over here, go to the movies, go to the mall. It's such a shift, and I feel like if people were a little bit more aware that that's just going to change, then maybe it wouldn't be as hard on you as it was for me. One of the things that I wrote down on my phone when I was thinking about what to talk about in this video is, you know, everyone does premarital counseling. And I talked to this, one of my good friends that I work with about this. Everyone does premarital counseling. It's like, it's standard before you get married. It's very common. It's very well, I have to blow my nose. Okay, I've composed myself a little bit more and I blew my nose. Another fun thing is every time I blow my nose, my ears get all crazy and pop, and I feel like my world has just like changed. Okay, so I think I've talked about the crappy aspects. Okay, I was talking about premarital counseling. It is so common, okay? In my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people should agree with this, having a baby is a much more, what word am I looking for? That's what I'm gonna call this video. What word am I trying to decide to say? Having a baby is a much higher impact of change in your life than getting married. Combining two lives, combining two opinions and ways of doing things, that is a change. However, going from 2 of you to 3 and everything else that comes with it is a much bigger change, in my opinion. Getting married, piece of cake. You get to be selfish and think about just you two. But why is it that no one goes to pre-baby counseling? Is that stupid? Because I thought about it and I was like, that's genius. That's kind of a genius idea. So I Googled it and it exists. As far as expectations on who does what, or ways to, I don't know, deal with conflict in your relationship that are surely to come with kids. It's just part of life. And that's what I'm trying to get at. It's part of life. It's not uncommon or not normal. It is normal. And it would not be normal if you didn't have these things going on. I would say to someone, if you really maybe are concerned about this, or really just want to strong proof your relationship and your marriage, I would do that. I don't know. I think it's kind of genius. Maybe you have like a pastor that you're really close to that kind of does that kind of thing, or someone that you already go to. If you already go to counseling or therapy, incorporate that in. I think that would be so smart. And I need a thesaurus. I need a dictionary. That's the word I'm looking for. It would be very wise. Okay, that's all. I'm gonna stop at wise because I can't find the other word. That was an idea that I kind of wanted to bring up. Like, why doesn't anyone do that? Or if you have done that, then just like comment down below and tell me about how that experience was for you. Or if you think that was a good idea, tell me that, you know, that was a pretty good idea, Elena. Okay, but the main one that's much easier and probably like a lot less scary to some people is, I'm gonna do this next time. On my next kid, because we want multiple kids, I thought that it would be very wise to have, before you even have your baby, when it's getting near the end, I think it would be so smart to have date nights already on the calendar. And I don't care if it goes out to the first 6 months. Have them on the calendar, you know? If it's 4 months down and that person knows that they have them on the 23rd on Friday or whatever, they know it's there, it's already on the calendar. Don't back out of it. It's been planned for months. I feel like that would be brilliant. And I'm going to do that next time because it kind of forces you to just get out. I feel like on my second one, it won't be as difficult to just go, you know, take the baby. But on the first one, it is a little difficult, even if you're like me and you really feel like prioritizing your time and your spouse's time and thinking about you is very important to being a mom. The very first date night that my husband and I went on was for like 4 hours. We got away for 4 hours on our anniversary, which was June, and I had her late April. So not bad, okay, 2 months later, and I was breastfeeding. So that kind of makes it a little bit harder to get away for very long. After you get settled, have date nights on the calendar for multiple months. And they're set on the calendar, and those are days that you can just truly be together. And I think that's genius. My next point that I wanted to talk about, which is I believe that you were a couple first. It was you two for a long time before this little one came into the picture. And that's why I really truly believe in putting your marriage before your kids. And that sentence sounds cruel if you don't really know what I'm saying. Obviously you love your kids, your world revolves around them. However, you have to have yourself in order and your marriage in order to be good parents. You want to set a great example about what a healthy marriage looks like. And if you don't have a healthy marriage, that's going to negatively affect them in so many ways other than you guys going on a date night a few times a month. You have to be your best version of yourself, your best version of your relationship with your spouse, just apply this to you. I keep saying marriage because that's what I am in right now. I'm in a marriage. If my husband didn't know, whew, he's got a surprise when he gets home. You're married. But apply it to you if you're just with a boyfriend, fiance. Apply it to you because this all works for everyone. You have to prioritize your relationship over the kids. You can't let your relationship go in the back burner because it will show, and trust me, it will not survive. That's really my opinion. I feel like that's why so many people can't make it. You get caught up in life, you get caught up in doing things that have to be done, and you don't prioritize relationship, and by the time your kids go to school or graduate and leave the nest, you don't even know who you're living with anymore. Like, who are you? I don't want that to happen to me, and that's why I always believe to put your relationship first before your kids and show them a healthy relationship and marriage. I was talking to a family member about this issue, and she was saying, I've completely agree with what you're saying, like I've totally experienced this, and she was saying that her sister really didn't experience that, and her sister has 2 kids. So if this isn't your experience and your transition into motherhood with you and your husband has been amazing, then just don't say anything to me about it. But she was saying that she told her husband, she cried to him, and she was like, I miss you. And he was like, what the heck? I'm right here. I said back to her, I said, oh my gosh, I've said and done that exact same thing to Nate. Obviously, I see him every single day. We live together. We sleep in the same bed every night. And I told him, I'm like, I feel like I haven't seen you in weeks. And that's how it feels sometimes. And some of that's natural. It's going to happen. It's just part of life and the progression of life, of having kids and growing up, honestly, which I still need to do a bit of. I just kind of wanted to have this conversation with you guys about my experiences in the hopes that some people would just kind of comment below and make me feel better about them feeling the same way. Getting this conversation out there because I don't really feel like a lot of people talk about it. I feel like it was kind of like my duty to get this conversation out there in the hopes that if anyone else is feeling that way, that it would make them feel normal. Because isn't that all what we want? To just kind of feel like our experience is normal. And if you're pregnant right now and you're expecting, congratulations. I get so excited. I don't even know people, and I get so excited now that I've had a baby when other people are pregnant, because it's just like, oh my gosh, you're about to have the most life-changing thing that you could ever go through. Ever. There's nothing that tops this. So it is the best. It is the best seeing your spouse fall in love with your baby and watching those moments. Just be aware that your relationship changes and, be proactive about it and kind of get ahead of it. Get ahead of it. That's what I wanted to say for people that are expecting. I don't want this video to be like a Debbie Downer. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I hope you've enjoyed kind of just chit-chatting with me, and I know this was a huge ramble video. I went off on tangents. This editing is going to be ridiculous. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope this was just kind of a fun, informal sit-down chit-chat. And I hope to see you in my next video. Make sure to subscribe and thumbs up. I'm just saying what other people say. Today, we're gonna talk make sure to subscribe if you haven't. I'm pretty new on YouTube, so no, why am I saying that? Who is this? Y'all know there's a man. No, do not bark. Oh. There's like men with briefcases. Like, what? Isn't that so funny? I was literally huddled in the corner of my office. I'm right in front of a window, so that's why I had to go hide. He would see me. Remember back in the day when like the door rang and you were young and it was like the most exciting thing? Who could that be? And now I lay down on the floor.